Hello, I'm Anand. I'm from Nagpur. I have studied at IIT Guwahati. I studied computer science there for 4 years. What got me here in Gandhi Fellowship was the desire to use as much of my time as possible during the peak years of my life. When I went to IIT Guwahati, I got this chance to manage their annual Techno Management Festival. It's called Techniche. And in my 4th year there, I was the number 2 person there. I was overheading a team of 20 people who were directly reporting to me, and together we were managing a budget of around 60 lakh rupees. That was an experience that I had never had in my life before, and it sort of gave me a taste of what potential there is in me. And I had a good understanding of that, and I was thinking that whatever I do in my life, this potential has to be realized. This potential has to get reflected in my work, in the sort of things that I leave behind me. Back at Oracle, right after the college, the work there was pretty easy. So I would get it over with in around 2.5 hours in a day, the minimum required work, that is. But the thing was, I wasn't so passionate about programming that I would keep myself busy with more work. So what started happening was, since I couldn't push myself enough, my productivity started decreasing. So the work that I could have gotten done in 2 hours, it started taking me 4 or 5 hours to finish. At the end of the 3rd month at Oracle, I started feeling I was shrinking as a person, not growing. And the blame was completely on me. The team was great, everyone there was fabulous, very helpful, very approachable. But I was the one, since I couldn't connect with the work emotionally, or I couldn't connect with the cause emotionally, there was no clear vision that helped me sustain in my life and the work there. So I started getting frustrated. And that frustration lasted for 4 or 5 months. And those were difficult 4 or 5 months. I started exploring different options from there and got to know about the Gandhi Fellowship. It seemed like a program that was at the very worst fulfilling. At the very worst fulfilling. And so I jumped the board. It was a leap of faith. It was a difficult phase, both for me, both for my family. Interestingly enough, I got the acceptance letter right on the day of my birthday. And when I called my father up, he said, "Oh, hi Anand, happy birthday, how are you?" And I was like, "Thank you, Papa, but I'm quitting my job." From then, the next 15-20 days were very restless. The very next morning, my parents showed up at my house in Bangalore and they were asking me questions like, "Pagal to nahi ho gaya? Kya ho gaya? Galat logon ke saath rehta hai kya? And do you realize how much important the money is?" and all. Anyway, so I jumped the board there, took that leap of faith, came to the Gandhi Fellowship. And if I thought IIT Guwahati was diverse, this was a whole different level of diverse altogether. Here, in the 6-member team, I was the only engineer. The other people came from different backgrounds, economics, Hindi, social work. And some of them were people who had survived the Bombay floods. Some of them were people who had had their fields getting burned and had essentially nothing, no source of income for an entire year. I could not even begin to imagine what their worldview is like. I could not even begin to stand in their shoes and understand the world as they saw it. So it was a tumultuous phase again. And this is a recurrent motif. This is a recurrent thing that has come up over and over again consistently in the fellowship. Every now and then I've been thrown up into places where I could not understand what was happening. My first village immersion, my first village in which I stayed for a month, I had no idea what to do there. I just went there, all I had was a house. Again, thanks to the headmaster of the school who arranged the house for me. But I had no idea where to start from. There were so many people whose language I only half shared, and there were so many problems. I empathized how, as a change maker and intending to be a change maker, working in rural areas, I realized how easy it is to get swept away by the problems, by the numerous problems that exist in the villages. And that realization has stayed with me till date. I've worked upon refining my knowledge of the different problems that our country faces, both at the micro and the macro level. I've constantly tried defining where I could fit in this entire pyramid of issues. I am still not clear about where exactly I fit in, but I've started getting a good idea. My steps are more purposeful than they were before. My aim for joining the Gandhi Fellowship was simply to explore. There was no aim at joining IIT Guwahati. Till IIT Guwahati, the life was on autopilot. Same with Oracle. So I took a first step to just explore at Gandhi Fellowship. From now, I have a clear vision in my mind. I am going to join the District Transformation Program of the Piramal Foundation and the Keval Education Foundation. And the mission is to change the entire education system throughout India. It is a vision that is extremely ambitious. It is a vision that a lot of people share in the country, but are of course intimidated by it, the same way as I am right now. But I like the approach. I know it's not going to happen without the help of the government. I know this is something that has to be approached systematically and systemically. But the real change happens at the people level. The real change happens the same way as at the level of a district education officer, similar to what happened with the HMs and the teachers of my schools. Of course, the system was broken, but it was the individuals who implemented that system. They were the ones who had the maximum power to transform it. And once you have this realization, once you start empathizing with them, once you start understanding their issues, which aren't just systemic issues, which are real life issues, ranging from their family, their friends, their students, the kind of communities they come from, all of it. Once you start realizing this and working towards solving these real issues, change is possible. And that's my biggest takeaway from the Gandhi Fellowship. I used to ask myself that, what is it that I'm gaining here that makes the opportunity cost of Gandhi Fellowship lesser than the opportunity cost of going somewhere else? What I've realized is the whole concept of an inner journey is something that doesn't exist anywhere else. In a typical IIT, no one is going to ask you what you're feeling right now. No one is going to ask you to say your thoughts out loud right now. No one is going to ask you about your interests and your passions and what you want to do with the rest of your life. All they'll talk about is the how of it. No one really engages you on the what. Everyone is focused on how. मुझे startup करना है, मुझे MS करना है, मुझे PhD करनी है. These are all hows. You do these things to achieve something. And if you are confused among these three things, then frankly you aren't confused at all. This is a very superficial level of confusion. Once you start dealing with the idea of what you want to do, then everything becomes clear. To quote a line from Alice in Wonderland, for example, if you don't know where you want to go, any road will take you there. So that, understanding the what, making sure that what is something that is completely inside here, that is something that the fellowship engages you with, and that is something that you won't find anywhere else. So that's the USP.